it's another Jayco Silverline. Now, we have done quite a lot of these Jayco Silverlines. Each one is different in its own right, and each one, as with all of our systems, is designed specifically around the customer's requirements. So the Silverlines are a little bit unique because they actually have a control system built into the van which incorporates things like the slide out, the external lights, and a few other bits and pieces that they're specifically capable of looking after. So what we actually do is we interface with that system to give the customer a completely separate power system, but it's tied into their existing management system, for lack of a better term. But this one is unique in its own right, as I've mentioned, because there's a few things different about this particular van than, say, some of the newer Silverlines. This van has a three-way fridge built into it. It's a Dometic three-way fridge. The three-way fridge can run on 3 separate sources. It can either run on gas, on 240 volt electrical, or 12 volt from your car. Now, when they are running on electricity, they are quite thirsty. So they've got 300 watt elements built into them for both the 240 volt and the vehicle battery supply, which equates to approximately about 20 amps in DC load. So compare that to, say, a compressor fridge, where a compressor fridge might run between 5 and 6 amps when it's running. So it's significantly more thirsty on energy. However, the way that we do these systems is we always give the ability for the end user to decide whether they want to use their battery to run their system. So this system's been installed in a way that we can actually run the three-way fridge on 240 volt from the inverter. So just quickly take you through the specs of this particular van. It has a 400 amp hour battery and 1,000 watts of solar on the roof. So it's not a massive system by comparison to some of the other vans that we do in this vein. So some of the other Silverlines we've done have had 600 amp hour battery and 1,400 watts of solar, for example. The reason we've done this size of system for this particular customer is because they've told us what they would like to run whilst off-grid. So we've designed it in a way that suits their needs. So it still gives them the ability to choose, if they want to, run their air conditioner for a short period of time. So for a few hours, they can do that. Right now, at the moment, we are actually running the air conditioner while we're recording this video off the battery system. So you can obviously probably hear the inverter working in the background there. This is a Harrier, I think it's a Harrier Plus, so it's quite a big air conditioner, and it is actually quite energy thirsty as well. So it does consume quite a lot. It does have all the features of the normal Dometic air conditioners as well, with night mode, and yeah, it does cycle down as well. So it's not an air conditioner that requires a soft starter because it's an inverter-based air conditioner. So it actually is quite gentle on startup for the power inverter. So we can run that. We can also run the hot water system off 240 volt if we want to. So the system itself, as always with these Silverlines, is under the bed. This is the most sensible place to put these systems because it's realistically the only place it'll fit. Even though they're quite big vans, they actually don't have a lot of space for installing this type of system into. And as you can see, the bed space is actually quite small by comparison to, say, other north-south facing bed setups in caravans, because the actual wall slides out here, so this section of the floor doesn't move, whereas the actual bed does. So the space underneath the bed is a little bit smaller. But as you can see here, we've got everything that we need from both a compliance perspective, a functionality perspective. So we've got our Lifetek 410 amp hour battery, which is, as we always talk about, fully compliant to ACE 3001 Part 2 2022 with a fully enclosed battery and a vent built onto that. Battery isolator, got a battery monitor which is required by the standard as well. We've got solar isolation down here plus solar fusing on the roof. And we've got our independent solar regulators plus our Cymarine system, our EnerDrive 2600 watt inverter, and we're actually using the projector PM335 as our 240 volt battery charger. Although it's only small and it might not get used that often, we don't see any value in replacing that, just due to putting an extra battery charger in, just due to the fact that it is already there and it's lithium compatible. So what we do in these vans always is install the remote panels somewhere. In this particular van, sometimes we've installed them in this space here, but in this particular van there was enough space up in the overhead cupboard, so that's what we've done. As you can see, we've got our Cymarine Pico inverter controller here as well. So pretty simple system with respect to what we're monitoring. We are monitoring battery management, battery levels, solar and car, vehicle or 12 volt loads essentially. So not a lot else on this particular screen. So it's nice and simple, gives the user absolutely everything they need to know about what's happening with their system. As you can see here, we've got two arrays. We've got 600 watts coming through the top array, and we've got 400 watts coming in through the other array, the left-hand side array, and that's equating at the moment with the air conditioner running to a deficit of 6 amps. So even though these air conditioners do consume quite a lot of energy, they're also able to ramp themselves right down once the temperature has reached its appropriate level that you've set it to. Basically, you know, these vans, although we've done quite a number of them now, they are, as I said before, quite unique in their own right. This customer also wanted a Starlink pass-through. And so what we've done there is we've put the Starlink pass-through on the outside. The expectations are that they will get Gen 3, and we've given them the Starlink connection up here in the overhead cupboard. So when they get their Starlink, they can pop their Starlink router up here and plug into the power point, and also plug into the pass-through, which then goes out to their dish. So some people prefer to have a 12 volt setup for their Starlink. When you've got a system of this size, there's no need to do that. You can comfortably run Starlink on 240 volt, no problems whatsoever. You can also, if you've got a system of this size, choose to have a 12 volt setup as well, but it's not necessary. You can run it on your big inverter, no problems at all. So that, in essence, is this particular setup in this particular van. Probably just as a finalization of everything, as I said before, this specific system has been designed around this particular customer's needs and wants. So although, yes, you can fit a lot more battery and solar onto these vans, it wasn't something that this particular customer wanted. So we've designed it in a way that suited them, and it's given them a really nice, comfortable system that they can go away and spend as much time as they need off grid. They're always going to be able to run their fridge on gas or 240 whilst they're off grid. One of the other things, actually, just on that side of things, these fridges do actually work a lot better on 240 than they do on 12 volt. So when you're under tow, you can actually run these fridges with your inverter on 240, and it'll work a lot better. Some of the older 3A fridges, actually their freezer doesn't work whilst it's working on the 12 volt element. So definitely running it on 240 is a lot better. All right, that probably wraps that up. It's, yeah, as I say, it's a really nice system for this particular customer. So we're looking forward to handing it over to them, and we'll see you in the next one.